Hollis Hall has been unusually active this week, and the conversations happening behind those doors right now could completely redefine what our offense looks like next season. While everyone's talking about defensive needs, there's an offensive weapon out west who's been quietly putting together the kind of tape that makes general managers lose sleep at night. Welcome to Bears News Fan Report, your trusted source for breaking news, insider analysis, and everything Chicago Bears. I'm here to bring you the latest updates and most reliable information about our beloved team, making sure you're always ahead of the curve, understanding where this franchise is headed. Today, I'm diving into something that's been consuming my attention for the past 72 hours, and I think it's going to completely shift how you view our draft strategy moving forward. We're not just talking about filling holes anymore. We're talking about adding a difference maker who could transform the entire complexion of our offense, someone who brings a skill set we haven't had in Chicago for far too long. But before I get there, you need to understand the full context where we are right now. This past season taught us some harsh lessons. Despite having talent in key positions, we struggled to consistently move the ball through the air. Our passing attack lacked the explosive element that separates good offenses from great ones, that vertical threat who keeps defensive coordinators up at night game plan. Sure, we've got solid plays. Solid doesn't win championships in today's NFL. You need players who can create separation on a dime, who can turn a 5-yard route into a 60-yard touchdown, who make defensive backs second-guess their assignment. That's what we're missing, and that's exactly what the upcoming draft solves. The 2026 draft is loaded with offensive talent, particularly at wide receiver position. We're seeing prospects from all over the country who possess NFL-ready skill set, guys who've dominated at the collegiate level against top competition. But there's levels to this. Some receivers are solid starters, some are good complementary pieces, and then there are the rare ones who have that elite combination of size, speed, route running ability, and playmaking instinct that translates to immediate impact at the professional level. Those are the guys who change franchise, become the focal point of offensive game plan, who turn quarterbacks into Pro Bowlers. Now, I know what you're thinking. The Bears are currently slated to pick at 25 in the first round, and most mock drafts have us addressing defensive needs, specifically along the interior defensive line. Caden McDonald from Ohio State keeps popping up as the logical selection, a dominant interior presence who could shore up our run defense. That makes sense on paper, and I wouldn't hate that, but here's where things get interesting, and this is where Ryan Poles and his staff need to think bigger picture. What if the most impactful move we could make isn't taking the safe pick at 25, but aggressively moving up the board to secure a player who addresses critical need and brings immediate offensive firepower? Trading up is always risk-cost in terms of capital, but when you identify a player who perfectly fits your system and addresses a glaring weakness, some have to be bold. That's the difference between staying mediocre, taking that next step toward contention. Let me paint you a picture of the type of player I'm talking about. Imagine a receiver who averaged over 17 yards per catch last season, someone who consistently won battles downfield against press coverage, who showed the ability to adjust to the football in contested situations, who possessed the speed to take the top off any secondary in college football. We're talking about a guy who put up numbers against legitimate competition, who showed up in big game, who has the tape that makes scouts rewind plays just to appreciate the technique and athleticism. This prospect comes from a program that's been pumping out NFL talent recently, a team that played competitive football in a major conference and gave this receiver ample opportunity to showcase his abilities against future NFL defensive backs. He's not some small school project or one-year wonder. He's a proven commodity who's ready to contribute from day one. The route tree is advanced, hands are reliable, and most important, the football intelligence there. He understands leverages, he knows how to work back to the quarterback, plays break down, and he has that natural feel for finding soft spots in zone coverage. But here's the catch, and this is where our draft strategy becomes crucial. Current projections have him coming off the board in the top 10, potentially as early as the 6th pick. Cleveland's been heavily linked to him, and several other receiver-needy teams are circling. If the Bears want him, they can't sit at 20. They'd need to package pick, include a future selection, and jump into that top 10 range. Is it worth it? That's the million-dollar question that Poles and Matt Eberflus need to answer in the coming week. Let me tell you why I think it absolutely could be. Our quarterback situation is stable now, and whenever you have confidence in your signal caller, you invest in weapons to maximize that. The difference between a good quarterback and a great one often comes down to the talent around them. Look at what happened in Cincinnati when they surrounded Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Look at what Justin Jefferson did for the Vikings offense. These aren't just good players, had offensive to adjust their game. The player I'm talking about is Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. This kid is special, and I'm not throwing that word around carelessly. Tyson averaged 17.3 yards per reception last, hauling in touchdown after touchdown while facing constant double teams and bracket coverage. He's 6'1", runs in the low 4.4 range, and possesses the kind of body control that allows him to make circus catches look routine. But what separates him from other talented receivers in this class is his versatility. He can line up outside, work from the slot, run jet sweeps, and even contribute as a returner if needed. That's the kind of Swiss Army weapon modern NFL offenses are built. Arizona State's offense gave him opportunity to showcase skills. He ran vertical stress safe, intermediate crossing part zone, and quick screens were his yard. After catch ability, defensive coordinators had to account for him on every snap, and even when they did, he still found ways to impact the game. That's the mark true number one receiver, someone who produces regardless of the attention he receives. Now, let's talk about fit with the Bears specific. Our offense under the current regime values receivers who can do multiple things, who aren't limited to just one role or one spot on the field. Tyson checks every box. He'd immediately become our top outside threat, giving us that deep ball option we've been lacking. His ability to win one-on-one matchups would open up everything underneath for our other pass catcher, creating natural mismatches across. And in today's NFL, where defenses are getting faster and more athletic, having a receiver who can separate quickly and create explosive plays is non-negotiable if you want to compete. The cost of moving up is significant, don't get me wrong. We'd likely be looking at our first and second round picks this year, plus potentially a future selection to get into that range where Tyson will be available. That's a hefty price tag, but consider what we'd be getting in return. A 21-year-old receiver entering his prime, someone who could be a cornerstone of our offense for the next 6-8 years, a player who immediately upgrades our offense and gives our quarterback a legitimate weapon to build around. When you frame it that way, cost starts to make more sense. There's also the competitive landscape to consider. The NFC North is getting tougher every year. Minnesota, Detroit, and Green Bay all have explosive offenses with multiple weapons. If we want to compete in this division, we can't just field a competent offense. We need an offense that can go toe-to-toe with those high-powered attacks, that can put up 30 points when necessary, that keeps opposing defenses honest. Adding someone like Tyson would be a statement move, declaration that we're done being patient and we're ready to win now. I've watched every snap of Tyson's tape from last season, and there are plays that just jump off the screen. His touchdown catch, US, where he high-pointed the ball over two defenders in the end zone. The cross against Washington, he made a safety miss field and took it to the back shoulder fade at Oregon State, where he showed NFL-level body control, hand-eye coordination. These aren't fluke. This is a pattern of excellence. A player who consistently makes difficult catches and creates big play team. The scouting reports on him are overwhelmingly positive. Scouts love his release off the line, his ability to stack corners vertically, and his natural ball tracking skill. The concerns are minimal, mostly centered around whether he can handle the physicality but at 6'1" with his frame, I don't see that being he's got the build to withstand the rigors of professional football, and his competitive nature suggests he'll embrace the physical challenges that come with playing receiver in the NFL. Here's what it comes down to for me. The Bears have been building methodically, adding pieces through the draft and free agency, trying to create sustainable success rather than quick fix. I respect that approach, and it's shown results in certain areas, but there comes a time when you have to accelerate the process, when you have to make a bold move that signals you're ready to compete at the highest. Trading up for Jordan Tyson would be that move. It would be Poles putting his chips on the table, betting on this core being ready to take the next step. Could we address other needs with those draft picks? Absolutely. Could we find value later in the draft receiver? Maybe. But when you identify a player who fits your system perfect, who addresses a critical need, and who has legitimate star potential, you can't timid. You have to. The great organizations in this league aren't afraid to be aggressive. Right opportunity presents itself, and I believe Tyson represents exactly that kind of opportunity for us. Now, I want to hear from you, because this is a decision that would impact our franchise for years to come. Do you think the Bears should trade up to get Jordan Tyson? Is he worth the draft capital it would cost to move into the top 10? Or would you rather see us stay at 25 and address the defensive line? What's your priority for this team moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I read every single one, and your perspective matters in how we analyze these moves. This draft is going to be pivotal for the Bears, and the decisions Ryan Poles makes in April will define the trajectory of this franchise for the next several years. Make sure you're subscribed to Bears News Fan Report and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates as we get closer to draft day. I'll be breaking down every development, every workout, every piece of news that impacts the Bears. This is the only place you need to be. Comprehensive, reliable Bears coverage. Let's ride Bears. Our time is coming.